Hello everybody, it's Nat here. How's it going? Back again. Let's get started. Basically, this video, welcome. This video is to talk to you a little bit about one of the modules I learned in DBT therapy. It's a core life skill. It's 1 out of the 4, and I want to talk to you about it because it's a really good life skill to have. Anybody can use these skills. They're particularly focused at people that suffer with mental health problems, but literally anybody can use these life skills. They are so valuable, they are so worthwhile, and if you follow these skills, you can't go wrong in life. If you didn't see my video yesterday, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I am Nat, I'm 32 years old, I live in the northwest of England, Lancashire. Yeah, we won't go there. So yeah, I'm 32, I'm a mum to 2 young girls, aged 5 and 7, and I have my own businesses. That's what I do for a living. I suffer with emotionally unstable personality disorder, and this is why I was referred to this DBT therapy. So that's just a little bit about me and why. Well, I said yesterday in why I was doing this. I have another video posted on my Facebook wall, which I will put a link to in the comments of this live. Hi Mike, how are you? Hope everyone's okay, by the way. So I'm going to get started if that's okay. So this video is, what I'm aiming to do is provide you with the opportunity to gain insight and learn new skills and deal with whatever your current situation may be more effectively. So we're gonna work on helping you find solutions to your difficulties. I can't say that I can solve your problems. I make no promises. I'm just here to give you a little bit of a guide, share my own experiences, share my own not views, because I don't like to make judgments or try not to be opinionated about it, but I want to guide people so they have a better chance of developing less destructive ways of coping with whatever's going on in their life. So like I said, the first module with the DBT therapy is mindfulness, and I'm just going to explain a little bit about what it is. So mindfulness is intentionally living with awareness of the present moment. So, sorry, I'm reading my notes. Waking up from automatic or rote responses to participate and be present in the moment and be present in our own lives. So, and mindfulness is also without being judgmental or rejecting that moment. So noticing consequences and differentiating between helpful and harmful, and letting go and evaluating without avoiding the situation, without suppressing the situation or blocking what's going on. So it's just being aware, being aware and being mindful of what's going on in your head or in your environment. And also mindfulness is not attaching yourself to that moment too much So while you're attending to what you're feeling and being mindful about what's going on around you, you don't want to get too attached to it and then dwell on things. So attending to each moment as a different experience rather than going to the past, and rather than ignoring the present as well. And not grabbing for the future. So basically, you're not thinking about your past, you're not dwelling on the past, you're not ignoring what's going on around you, and you're not grabbing towards the future and perceiving the future. Nobody's an oracle, basically. So mindfulness skills, I'm really struggling to get it out. Mindfulness, that's it. Mindfulness skills are specific behaviours to practice that when put together ultimately make up mindfulness, if you understand what I mean. So it's a set of skills that are all put together so that you're making sure that you're in the present and not, wandering, dwelling and ruminating and, perceiving any dangers or things that aren't there. So mindfulness can be practiced at any time. This is the beauty of it. I've learned to practice this skill. It's almost like an automatic response now for me, because I've been practicing. And as it's a skill, you're not just going to get it just like that. You've got to keep practicing it, and you've got to nurture it, so then, like me, it could become an automatic response. So you can do it anywhere, at any time, while you're doing anything. So it's just like I said, intentionally paying attention to that particular moment in time, without being judgmental, without holding on to it, just noticing that it's there, noticing what's going on. So a few like mindfulness practices are things like meditation. Obviously, meditation, you normally sit in a comfortable position, totally relax your body, deep breathing, and focus on one particular thing, and not let outside or inside thoughts interrupt that. So meditation is a good one, because if you're focused on your breathing, for instance, this breathing comes a lot into this kind of skill. So if you're focused on your breathing, you're not really thinking about outside influences or intrusive thoughts. You're just focusing on breathing in and breathing out. So meditation is a great one. Like I said, it will take some practice. It does take some practice. Some people don't find it too helpful because they sit there and they feel a bit silly. Some people find it too relaxing, and some people end up falling asleep. I've done that before. But I use meditation quite a lot because I do Pilates, and at the end of my Pilates sessions, we have like a paired muscle relaxation meditation thing to kind of like bring you down, and just, it's amazing. I always feel so much better after I've done Pilates, because I've done my workout and then you kind of meditate to like just and I just feel like, that's lovely. Anyway, other mindfulness practices are contemplative prayer. So if you're particularly religious, mindfulness is practiced in religious teachings if you like to pray. Mindfulness movement, which I've just talked about, is Pilates, yoga, martial arts, spiritual dancing, even to things like going for a walk, hiking, horseback riding, because you've got to be mindful of what you're doing. Say, for instance, you're on a horse, you've got to be aware of you've got to be in the present moment, you've got to be aware of what's going on, because you need to perceive you need to have your eyes open to perceive, upcoming dangers or anything. So you need to be on the ball, basically. So yeah, just bear me 1 second. And I just want to explain why mindfulness is important. So the goals of mindfulness practice is to, 1, it reduces suffering and stress, and it increases happiness. So like if you use mindfulness, it can reduce stress, tension, pain as well. People use mindfulness to tackle pain. Yeah, I know people that have physical health conditions, and quite often medication doesn't really help. So they use mindfulness to try and combat dealing with that pain. So yeah, it reduces suffering and increases happiness. So it also increases your control of your mind. So then it stops your mind getting the better of you. You know, sometimes when you're thinking and you get intrusive thoughts or feelings, you know, it can spiral out of control, and you just feel like your mind is taking over your body, your life, everything. You know, that's basically, you know, when people with mental health problems really suffer, because it's basically them letting negative issues, negative thoughts control their mind, so they control their life. So their thoughts and their mind is controlling everything. So it, you know, if you practice mindfulness, it will help you to take back that control. Yeah. It also helps you to experience reality as it is. So you live your life with eyes wide open, no blinkers. You know, you can see everywhere. You know, you're not just looking forward and not noticing what's going on around you. It increases your experience of reality and your connection to the universe and everything in it. So people, surroundings, you know, it basically helps you to realise where the hell you are, basically. It also helps you realise the reality of essential goodness. And what that means is it makes you realise the positives in life. It makes you realise that, you know, how do I explain it? It makes you realise that negative thoughts, like I said, can spiral out of control, can really get you down. And mindfulness helps you see another side to things. It helps you focus on the positives, look at the positives and embrace them positives. And it also makes you realise the reality of validity. Like, it helps you realise if you feel something, sometimes it's okay to feel like that. You know, people have emotions, and an emotion is always valid. It might not be, how do I explain this? The intensity of that emotion might not be valid, and how you express that emotion might be the wrong way, but at the end of the day, we all have emotions, we all feel emotions, and that is, you know, that is valid because it's real. So, and it's just, you know, mindfulness helps you realise that, you know, things are valid, you know, things that you feel are valid, things are important. Because a lot of people get bogged down in, like, say for instance, I used to say this a lot, I shouldn't feel like that. Well, why not? Shouldn't is a judgment. I shouldn't feel like that is a judgment. That's an opinion. The fact is, you you do feel like that. If you have an emotion, you do feel it. Whether you should or shouldn't feel it doesn't matter. You know, we're all human. You know, this is biology. You know, so yeah. So whether or not it's right or wrong, it's valid because it's there, if you understand what I mean. Anywho, so right, quickly, because I am aware that I don't know how long I've been on. Let's have a look. Oh, I can't tell. So yeah, so I've done that. Skills. Oh yeah, I'm just going to talk about really quick a mindfulness practice that is called Wise Mind. And basically we have essentially 3 states of mind. We have, so on the left we have reasonable mind, and this is, so reasonable mind feels, it is cool, it's rational, and it's task focused. So when you're in reasonable mind, you are ruled by facts, reason, logic, and pragmatics. Love that word. And value, and in reasonable mind, values and feelings, when you're in reasonable mind, values and feelings aren't really important. So that's reasonable mind. So on the right, you've got emotion mind. So emotion mind is the opposite. It's hot, it's mood dependent, and emotion focused. So when you're in emotion mind, you are ruled by your moods. You're ruled by your feelings and urges. So sometimes you'll say and do things that, you know, go beyond all fact, logic and reason. So those things, when you're in emotion mind, those things don't matter. So when you're being mindful, and when you're using your mindfulness skills, what you're got to do is get a balance between reasonable mind and emotion mind. And that is called wise mind. So your wise mind is the wisdom within each person, seeing the value of both reason and emotion, and bringing the left brain and the right brain together, and it's just the middle path. So when you're in wise mind, you're more likely to make a decision that's somewhere between emotion and reason. So let's say, I'm trying to think of an example. Where is it? Oh, 1 second. It's in my folder. Yeah. So, wise mind. Oh, stop turning. Do you know, I had all this planned and everything. Right. Yeah, it's not there, so let me just have a look. Oh, there we go. I'm just trying to find an example of what, because I know I've got loads, this is why I'm doing it. I've got loads of examples where, right, okay, let me just think. So, say for instance, I don't know, so you have an argument with someone, I don't know, something trivial, I don't know. Somebody takes the last biscuit out of the packet or out of the jar, and you really wanted that biscuit. Emotion mind, so you think about being mindful, think about what that would feel like. if someone took the last biscuit, you'd be annoyed, and you know, really, you know, kind of like, oh, I wanted that, really like pissed off, you know. This is a really trivial example, but it's just come into my head. So if you're in emotion mind and somebody's taking that last biscuit, you might end up shouting at them because you're angry. You know, you might, that could cause an argument. You know, you could say some really nasty things. So like I said, you're in emotion mind. It's focused on your mood and your urges. So when you're in emotion mind, your urges tend to be irrational. You know, so you took the last biscuit, so I'm going to punch you in the face. You know, that's, you know, that could be, you know, that's emotion mind. You know, so, you know, that's a bit extreme, but it can get to that point. So, like, but then reasonable mind is in that situation. So, yeah, reasonable mind in that situation was, well, I didn't want it anyway, it's fine. When really you did want it, but you could just say, oh, well, I didn't really want it. It's just a biscuit. The fact is, it's just a biscuit. You know, really making like logical, factual observations about it. It's just a biscuit. Why am I getting so emotional about it? But then that, you know, being sort of blasé about it, you know, that can be perceived as, all right, it's just a biscuit. But like in other situations, so I'm trying to think of another situation. So, like a really drastic situation, like, I don't know. You're driving and someone cuts you off, you know, or, no, maybe that's not a really good example. I don't know, but I'm just trying to think of something that's like quite drastic, and then somebody with, you know, a reasonable mind, logic mind, you know, present it with facts and, you know, alright, okay, I've thought of one. So say for instance somebody's grandma's in hospital and she's really ill, and then, you know, she's gone through a long illness and she's suffered, and then she passes away. Reasonable mind, when it goes a bit too far, is just blocking it all out, not having any emotion, you know, not showing any emotion, just being quite deadpan, you know, just, oh, you know, she was old, yeah, or she's not suffering anymore, but then like suppressing what they really feel, because obviously they're going to grieve, but being too logical, being too factual about it and not addressing your emotion with it can sometimes be harmful too. So basically what I'm saying, like I said, you need to find a balance of both. I'll just show you the diagram. That's the diagram. We want to be in this bit here, in wise mind. And it is, like I said, it's a mindfulness skill, because a lot of situations, because everybody's got, you know, you can more or less not tell, but there's kind of like a divide, you know. Some people are more emotion mind, some people are more reasonable logic mind, you know, and like I said, it is very hard to get that balance. I'm still practicing this because I am very emotional. I mean, that, you know, my diagnosis is emotionally unstable personality disorder, so I'm quite emotional and I find it hard to regulate my emotions. So if something happens, I tend to go into emotional mind and not think about things logically and not think about things rationally. I just get up here, when really I want to be down here, where I can think about it logically and proceed in the best way, whatever that situation may be. Just really quick, because like this is, like I said, these modules, they're all like broken down into like sections and stuff, but I just don't want to overwhelm people. It's, you know, so so we've covered wise mind and the states of mind. We'll also be covering like what to do when practicing mindfulness, which is what I'm going to go through next. And then next time I'm going to talk to you about how will you practice when you practice mindfulness. Like, because there's ways to do it. Just right quickly, you've got to do it, like I said, non-judgmentally, one mindfully, which means you're focused on the one task, you're not multitasking, and it's got to be effective, because if you're practicing a skill and it's not working, then it's not really effective, is it? It's not really doing anything for you. But I'll go on to that another time. So these are just some ideas for practicing the wise mind. Like I said, it takes a lot of practice, as with any new skill. And it's also important to realise and practice when you don't need the skill. So even if you're not, in a situation where you need to practice, to use your mindfulness, it's always helpful to just practice it anyway. I do this practice as part of my daily routine because it helps me build mastery. It helps me master that skill. And if you're practicing it in an easier situation, when it comes to the harder situation, you'll already be used to it. It'll already become like second nature, so you'll know what to do. So yeah, and some people, when they're practicing mindfulness, some people like to close their eyes. I call it like a blank canvas. But then sometimes, I don't know about you, but when you close your eyes, you can see things going on. You can, sometimes when you close your eyes, you get the little dots. You get like floaters. I call them floaters. It sounds a bit weird, but anyway, So when you close your eyes, there is stuff going on. So, but then some people like to practice mindfulness with their eyes open, because there are different ways of doing it. Sorry, I'm all snotty. So I'm just going to pick one out. There we are. Right, I've got one now. Sorry. One of the good ones I like to practice with practicing wise mind is, it's called breathing wise in and breathing mind out. So what you do is you use your breathing for this, obviously. So you breathe in and you say to yourself, wise. And when you exhale and take your breath out, you say mind, and you keep doing that until you feel that you're in that wise mind state. So basically, like if you're struggling and you wanted to use a mindfulness skill to calm some anxiety, or if you've got to face a situation that that's going to be difficult. So yeah, like I said, you breathe wise in, take your breath in, and say in your head wise, and when you breathe out, you say in your head mind. And you keep doing that until you're in a calm enough state, until you're in the wise mind, until you can make a decision on what you're going to do next. I always found that helpful. Like I said, meditation is a great one. If you can take like a couple of minutes, sometimes it only takes a couple of minutes. If you can take a couple of minutes out of your time to take a step back from a really crappy situation and just practice some meditation, some mindfulness, it's going to bring, you won't be focused on what's trying to get inside your head. Another good one is, when you can't stop thinking about something and it's ruminating around and around in your head, for 30 seconds just repeat the same word over and over, because just repeating the word, it could be anything. A good one is the word the. If you repeat the word the for 30 seconds in your head, nothing else is going to get in. So by the time that 30 seconds is up, your mind's clear and you can focus on, you know, what you've got to do next. It's a really good one for bringing anxiety down, is that one. So yeah, there's all sorts of ideas to practice mindfulness. And like I said, in my next video, which will be tomorrow, I will go on to how you do it, if you understand what I mean. Because like I said, you've got to think about how you're doing it, because if you're noticing, yeah, it's good to notice things, but if you're being judgmental about it and then ruminating about it, it can kind of spiral out of control. So anyway, right. I think that's about it, because I feel like I've rambled a bit, but I do hope it has helped. I know it helps me. And like I said, this is an initial thing. I only came up with this idea to do these DBT life skills lives yesterday. And because I'm so passionate about mental health, you know, and it's keeping me busy, which is also a skill in itself that's distracting, and, you know, it's one of my coping mechanisms is distract. You know, if you're busy doing something, you're focused on that, nothing can get in there and nothing can like bring you down to a low level. It's just great. So that's the reason why I'm doing this, because, you know, it's keeping me busy. I'm talking about something I'm passionate about. I'm talking about something I know about. And like I said, I'm not a pro, I'm not an expert, but I have lived and walked this path. I've been there and I want to help people. So, yeah, thank you for watching. If you're watching on replay, please comment #replay. And if you could just share this post. I will probably be editing it and put it up on YouTube tomorrow. I have a YouTube channel, so I posted my first initial video from yesterday on there. I'm really excited about this. I'm really passionate about it, and like I said, thank you for watching. Stamp out the stigma, mental health awareness. Thank you. Bye bye.